Right now at 5, an update from UW-Madison police after what appeared to be a grenade was found at an Arboritum path.
What state health experts are saying about a cluster of measles cases near Green Bay.
The school year is just around the corner, meaning kids are going to need school supplies. I'm Jalen Banks with how you can help those in need by helping us stuff this bus with those in need.
And we'll go out to Jalen shortly, but we welcome you to News 3 now at 5, and we start out with a look at your first warn forecast. Blaze is here. The wildfire smoke has been sticking around for over a week. Hard to believe it is still something we're talking about, Blaze.
Yeah, you know, I reached out to the Wisconsin DNR today because I was thinking this seems like a really long time that we've been consistently underneath an air quality alert. And they said that since 2007, this has been the longest that Wisconsin has been consistently under an air quality alert. In total, we will be at least 8 days consistently. I think after Tuesday's extension, we will be done with this round of air quality alerts, but you can see why they extended it, at least not only through Monday, but into Tuesday, because we're still dealing with some of that haze. We're taking a live look in downtown Madison over Lake Mendota on our Edgewater Sky Cam. That's where we find a pocket of that thicker smoke marked by these oranges that extend pretty much from northern Wisconsin all the way south into northern Illinois. That's where this smoke is coming from, out of northern Illinois. We found a pocket of some cleaner air off towards Waukesha, as well as back into Decorah in northeastern parts of Iowa. That air quality alert, as I mentioned, extended through noon on Tuesday. I don't foresee it being extended into Wednesday. We'll take a look at what the air quality will look like for the rest of the week in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Some breaking news nationally. The Texas Attorney General is calling for the arrest of Democrats who fled that state today to avoid voting on new maps that favor Republicans. Democrats were able to successfully prevent the GOP from moving forward with the maps, which were drawn at President Trump's request. But the proposal would potentially eliminate 5 Democratic U.S. House seats ahead of next year's midterms. Democrats say the move would disenfranchise Black and Latino voters and leaves them with little options.
They're leaving us no choice. We must do the same. There's a phrase, you have to fight fire with fire.
But the state is threatening to retaliate and may face legal challenges. Earlier today, Texas lawmakers used House rules and voted to compel the sergeant-at-arms to send for the absent Democrats under warrant of arrest if necessary. The UW Arboretum is back open this afternoon after police responded to alerts of a, quote, suspicious object that was along a path this morning.
UW-PD spokesperson Mark Lovicott said that a park goer spotted what appeared to be a grenade on the boardwalk. A bomb squad was then sent to the scene. Lovicott says the object turned out to be a training device. A K-9 unit finished a precautionary sweep and Arboretum Drive reopened soon after.
A person is dead after a one-vehicle crash in Wisconsin Dells. Police say it happened around 11 o'clock last night near Highway 23 and Broadway Road on the city's east side. A caller reported seeing someone lying in the road and tried to help, but when officers arrived, the victim had already died. Investigators say the vehicle was headed east on Highway 23 when the driver failed to make a curve, crashed, and was ejected. Investigators say speed may have been a factor in the crash.
At the state capitol, a new bill would help protect Wisconsinites' personal information from the federal government.
It's part of a package of bills that would build a greater firewall between the state and federal governments. Political reporter Will Keneally has more.
That would be protected from the view of the federal government.
That's the hope from Mike Baer, a Democratic state representative from Verona. His bill would block state agencies from giving the feds personal information like health and work data about Wisconsinites. It's part of a package that Democrats are introducing to put up firewalls between the Wisconsin government and D.C.
And one of the bills that we introduced earlier this year in the Protect Wisconsinites package is one that would allow the state to withhold dollars from the federal government, dollar for dollar.
If the Trump administration stopped money from going to Wisconsin against a court order, then Wisconsin could block the same amount of funds that it sends to Washington.
It's billions of dollars, and that's something that my colleagues and I have been conscious of and treat as a potential tool.
And this is important because Baer says the federal faucet makes a significant impact, especially here in Dane County.
We've been seeing dollars flowing to our area, particularly to UW for health research, for other research. That's one of the biggest drivers of our state's economy, and certainly a driver of our economy locally.
This bill is currently circulating behind the scenes in the state capitol. Reporting in Madison, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. 9 cases now of measles have been confirmed in Wisconsin. All 9 of those cases are in Oconto County, just north of Green Bay. And the state's Department of Health Services says all individuals with a confirmed case were exposed to a common source while out of state, which is why Dr. Ryan Westergaard of the DHS Bureau of Communicable Diseases says there is not a high risk of ongoing community spread. He does, however, say DHS is prepared in the event of a wider spread.
There's been more measles than there have been in quite a few years across the country. So while we weren't surprised that we had our first cases this past week, we were prepared, and we've been making sure that we have adequate MMR vaccine in stock.
And that preparation comes as back-to-school season approaches. New data from DHS showing 86.4% of students met the minimum vaccine requirements for the 2024-25 school year. Now, that is significantly lower than the 95% that doctors say is generally considered a safe community vaccination rate.
This week marks World Breastfeeding Week. It's a global initiative launched in 1992 to raise awareness and support for nursing mothers.
The 2 main goals when there's a baby in the hospital and there's breastfeeding involved is to protect the milk supply, and that's typically by pumping while baby is healing, and feed the baby in whatever way's working, and whether that's by the breast or the bottle or a tube or an IV.
That was Katie Talmadge. She's a lactation consultant at American Family Children's Hospital, and she now works closely with families navigating those challenges, helping them maintain milk supply and adapt to their baby's unique needs. Her message during World Breastfeeding Week is that support can make all the difference, and every feeding journey looks a little different.
As kids head back to school, proper hearing health is crucial for their learning and communication.
Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, spoke with a local audiologist, and she has some information about what you should be on the lookout for.
Throughout the summer, you may have noticed your child not quite listening to you. Now, this could just be stubbornness, or it could mean your child needs a hearing test. At Professional Hearing Care in Fitchburg, audiologist Allie Anderson says the main sign parents should look for is whether your child is listening clearly or if they need to be right in front of you to hear you. If you see your child showing signs like tugging at their ears or difficulty listening, local experts say it could be ear-related and an easy fix.
Something that just notifies that it's uncomfortable or itchy. But yeah, you kind of notice a behavioral change in your child, in a sense. That could ultimately be part of their ears, or maybe frustration, because if you don't hear very well, it can ultimately lead to frustration on both of your ends, right?
Anderson says you can keep kids' little ear canals clean by letting the water run in naturally, or using a washcloth to clean around the ears. However, for those children who have a history of ear infections or ear tubes, Anderson does caution you guys to not use water in your ears. She recommends if you see the signs, you need to consult with your primary care provider or pediatrician first to see if an ear cleaning is necessary. And you're probably familiar with avoiding Q-tips because that is very essential. When it comes to ear cleaning, Anderson emphasizes that our ears are made to push out that wax naturally, and using Q-tips can impact that wax and push it deeper instead.
Thank you, Michelle Renee. So parents, aside from the prevention issues by avoiding Q-tips, if you see ear tugging or any of the behavior changes that Michelle Renee was talking about, you might want to schedule an appointment before the school year starts.
And it won't be long before the pencils hit the paper and the late nights turn into late night study sessions.
For some families, that also means a need for a few extra school supplies.
And that's why we're once again partnering at the Boys and Girls Club for Stuff the Bus.
Our Jalen Banks joins us live. He's at the Walgreens with the big bus on University Avenue, right across from Hilldale for our first donation event.
Now, Jalen, how are the donations looking so far?
Eric and Susan, I would say so far we're making pretty good progress. I've been here since before noon, and there's been a good trickle of people rolling in, donating, supplies for our Stuff the Bus annual school drive. But as you guys have just mentioned, the school year is just around the corner. I mean, who would have thought that summer would be gone just like that? But I mean, we've got our backpacks, we've got, bags of color pencils and notebooks, you name it. As you guys had mentioned, we're looking for your traditional school supplies, the backpacks, the pencils, the pens, all those typical school supplies that you would need to get throughout the school year. But if you can't make it out to the location we're here today to donate, there's several places that you can go to throughout Dane County, including all the locations of the Boys and Girls Club from now through the 15th. So the Allied Family Center Boys and Girls Club in Fitchburg, along with the Boys and Girls Club's locations in Madison on Taft Street and in Sun Prairie from 9 to 5 during this week. You can also go to all Walgreens pharmacies in Dane County, as well as our studios at News 3 Now, right on Raymond Road. Again, we're looking for backpacks, pencils, folders, crayons, colored pencils, lunch boxes, etc., you name it, and any other of the essential items needed for students from preschool through senior year of high school to get through the school year. You can also find more info about how to donate or benefit from the drive on channel3000.com. We also have an Amazon wish list of all the school supplies that those may need on our website as well. But the bus is being stuffed, and it's also a little stuffy. I can't tell if you can see like the beads, the sweat beads on my shirt, so I'm gonna hop off now. But for now, reporting live from inside the bus that's being stuffed with school supplies, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you.
We've all been on a hot school bus.
Yes, we have. Thank you, Jalen, and thanks to everybody who's helped us out so far. The Department of Transportation has some bus safety reminders as back to school draws closer. The drivers, if you're driving, you should stop at least 20 feet from a school bus when its red warning lights are flashing. Drivers can pass if the lights are yellow, but do so cautiously. Kids should stay at least 5 giant steps away from the curb when you're waiting for the bus. Let it stop all the way, face forward in your seat, and only exit the bus when it's fully stopped. I could be a bus driver, I think. I could just whip through those rules.
And I'd be one of those kids that doesn't listen.
Exactly. Well, Blaze is back with the full forecast and hopefully an end to our air quality concerns.
And it is that time of the year. Move-out days are underway in downtown Madison. Some things to know as the UW campus comes back to life for the fall semester. And on Wall Street today, the markets rebound sharply from Friday's sell-off. The Dow up more than 585 points. NASDAQ climbs more than 403, and the S&P 500 jumps 92. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. Tickets for this fall's Book of Mormon show at Overture Center will go on sale Friday. The show follows two mismatched missionaries across the world, and it's coming back to Overture by popular demand. Since opening in 2011, Book of Mormon has become one of the most successful shows in Broadway history. The winner of 9 Tony Awards, a Grammy, 5 Drama Desk Awards, and more. The show will run in a very short stint, October 24th. Through the 26th.
Student move-out days start today for Madison, and that means the Streets Division will have extra collections for trash and recycling. Crews will also be providing more large item pickups for people living in the move-out area without needing a work order. The city reminds residents to recycle electronics at a Streets Division drop-off site and donate useful items like clothes and furniture. Extra collections last until August 22nd. Now let's get a full check on the forecast. Fall is approaching quickly, but it still feels like summer. It's just a little hazy, and we can't get rid of it's either the haze or the heat and the humidity. Pick one.
Yeah, you know, for as long as those fires are going to be raging in Canada, when we get these high pressure systems that bring down the cooler, more comfortable conditions, they'll likely continue to bring down a little bit of that smoke. And as Susan was mentioning, the other side of that is we get rid of the smoke, but we welcome back the heat and humidity. And that's what's going to be happening here throughout this week. We're going to stay hazy through Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be the day to get outdoors because we're not going to be as hazy and we're not going to be humid. It's going to be the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the perfect day. The smoke is going to continue to push off towards the north and east as our high pressure system slides its way eastward. More blue over not only Wisconsin but off to our west for a little bit. Here's a plume of smoke coming from those wildfires out west. It looks to be moving south instead of overhead. So really we just have to say goodbye to that remaining haze as we go into Wednesday. And as I mentioned, I don't foresee, based on the fact that we're seeing less oranges and yellows come Wednesday morning, the air quality alert being extended. But if it were to be extended, that would be a total of 9 days in a row that Wisconsin has been underneath an air quality alert. But winds are also the reason why we're not really getting rid of this smoke quite as quickly, because they're light and they're out of the east. So they're just kind of circulating the same air over the Midwest as this high pressure system slowly moves off towards the east. So we're looking at Wednesday at 5 a.m., less of the yellows, more of the greens and the blues, so less smoky conditions as we wake up on Wednesday. Further to the north and east, maybe that part of Wisconsin is underneath an air quality alert, but I wouldn't be surprised if we are dropped from that come Wednesday morning. Tuesday, our air quality is looking to be unhealthy for some to moderate in the yellow, so we're starting to get a little bit better air moving northwards. And then we sit underneath moderate air quality, according to airnow.gov. Wednesday, Thursday through Friday. And I could see that happening. We're not seeing more of those big plumes of smoke from out west, and we're not having those northerly winds pull down any of that smoke from Canada. So hopefully we start to get some more blue skies out there. Certainly it's been sunny. We just see that haze. So hopefully we start to see the sun and the blue skies as we go into the second half of this week. Tomorrow, temperatures will be in the low 80s. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be the last day that we deal with this haze. And then once we get Thursday onwards, that's when we say goodbye to the comfortable conditions and the haze, and we are underneath more humid and hot conditions, upper 80s to low 90s, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday of next week. And I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to stay warmer than average through the next, I would say, week to week and a half. It doesn't really look like any big cool downs are in the horizon, but that could also mean that we might not tap into any more smoke. We'll just continue to be more summer-like over the next maybe week to week and a half. In the short term, low 80s Tuesday. Again, Wednesday is going to be that day in the middle where it's not as hazy and it's not as humid. Get outdoors Wednesday. Not only does rain return on Thursday, but so does that heat and humidity, and it's going to stick around through the end of the weekend.
All right, Blaze, thank you. When we come back, a Packers granny has gone viral for a song that she hopes will become a mainstay at games at Lambeau Field.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Green Bay police have released their annual Packers Family Night report after thousands flocked to Lambeau Field over the weekend. There were no ejections from the field due to fan code of conduct violations. But as for the game, well, there's another story to tell about the upcoming season.
A grandma from Green Bay is going viral on social media for her song dedicated to the Packers.
Blake Borth has more from Green Bay.
I want to be a Packer fan dressed in green and gold. I hear they are the best there is, at least that's what I'm told.
A brat, a beer, and a burp is a new song becoming popular among Packers fans ahead of another football season.
It's them. It's all about them. It's their song. And they should be singing it, along with me, of course.
After learning her Meemaw was going to give the song up, Hannah decided to try something to keep it in the family, but share it with a few others.
Drinking her coffee in her favorite chair in the morning, and I was like, Grandma, I'm like, would you mind if I just videoed you singing your song?
I want to be a cheesehead sitting in the crowd, eating brats, drinking beer, and burping really loud.
Joanne first wrote the song as a poem and has turned into one of the most popular on social media.
I wrote it for the fans because I think the fans are great. The Packer fans are just great. And I wanted the Packer fans to be recognized. And I like to put memories into a poem. I want to be that special one who has a front row seat. When Packers score a touchdown, he'll jump up by my feet. I want to be the player running down the field.
With the hope of it one day playing on the big screen in Lambeau Field.
At a Packer game, and it's the end of the third quarter. And there that song is up on the lights, written out. And the whole stadium stands up and they start singing, I want to be a Packer fan. And they're doing a little bit of a polka dance. They can stay right in place and doing a little bit of a polka. But most of all, I want to be that flag high on the pole. 'Cause then I know I'd see every game that's played here on Lambeau.
So get ready to stand up and sing at Saturday's preseason opener against the Jets, just in case the Green Bay grandma's dream comes true.
Beer, brats, and burps. Gotta love it. Final check of your forecast when we come back. Stay with us.
Call it Texas Hold'em. Action to redraw congressional districts is stalled after lawmakers who wanted to stop a vote leave Texas. Can the governor force them to come back? And they are the beauties of the insect world. Now a new study finds dozens of species of butterflies are just disappearing. But why? Those stories and so much more tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Washington, D.C.'s Smithsonian National Zoo is celebrating a giant panda's first birthday in the U.S. Keepers presented 4-year-old Bao Li with a personalized cake this morning full of panda-friendly fruits and ingredients. Bao Li arrived from China in October along with his potential future partner, Sheng Bao. If you want to check in on the pandas, the Smithsonian National Zoo has 2 panda cams.
I've been out there.
I won't get a thing done.
They are fun to watch.
Yeah.
They are.
That group. All right, Blaze is back. Final check of the forecast.
It's going to be hazy as we go into Tuesday, but I think tomorrow is the last day. And we'll start out in the 60s. We'll end the day in the low 80s. So right around where we should be for this time of year. It's going to be sunny once again, but that haze will be sticking around through at least the first half. And then we'll start to see more bluer skies as we end Tuesday and go into Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be the perfect day in between the haze that we're going to be saying goodbye to and the humidity and heat that is going to return. We're into the upper 80s to low 90s. Starting Thursday through Sunday of the upcoming weekend with rain chances Thursday, maybe Wednesday night into Thursday, but I think the best chance is going to be to end the weekend and start off next week.
All right. Just got to get that fresh air back in southern Wisconsin.
No
Seems like it's been
kidding.
Forever. Blaze, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 5. CBS Evening News is next. Then we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Have a good evening, everybody.